all that stuff. How about Kate Grace?
Hey,
Ends her season with a win, 401. Just dominant last. Can we pull up, Travis, her last 250? Like, this race was somewhat competitive. I don't know if we have it, but she just put the foot on the gas with about 250 to go and just blew this thing wide open. It was off a pretty, I mean, conservative relative to recent Diamond League races. But yeah, you see this margin right here. We'll throw it up. But like, if you go back to just when they are on the backstretch, it was like real close, and then she just decided to make a move, and then left everybody in her wake. I was very impressed. I'm very impressed by Kate Grace's ability to bounce back and forth between the 8 and the 15 and the mile, and also her ability just to have this endless season go on forever. Because I'm guessing at the beginning of the year she had everything plotted out with the Olympics, doesn't make it, and then has to pivot to Plan B. And here she is in September, still winning big races.
so obviously she's been doing incredible 800s, according to Emma Coburn. Her 10 sub twos, 5 sub 159s, 4 157s.
It's
Pretty
good.
good, but more than pretty good. Beautifully good, some people would say. Um, but now you're on 401 PB. I remember I made a comment that she chose the wrong event in 2019 when she did the 15 instead of the 8 because she could have made the 8 team.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the 8 has, Raven Rogers and a thing Mo, who a thing ain't losing in a long time, and Raven's a gamer who can make
Mm-hmm.
more world teams. And you look at the 1500, you kind of only
Yep.
look at really
Yep.
El Perrier as the only steadfast person for the next few years. Do you think Kate will then once again go back to the 15 away from the 8?
Yeah, you were right in 2019, by the way, and but that doesn't mean that you stick with that event. You have to go based on where the opportunities are, and if you're equal, would you say she's equally good in both, or I'd say a little bit better in the 8? Would we say, is that fair to say right now?
I would say she's better in the 8, but the question
Right.
is the
The
field,
team
though,
is
is
easier.
better in the
Yeah.
8. The easiest
Yeah.
team to make is in the 15, Like, I mean, Kate
Yeah.
Grace is a 157 runner. You think she should be able to outkick Schlachterhoffen, Osika, McGee, Norris. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's easier to find a spot for Kate Grace in the top 3 in the 15 than it is to find her in the top
Yeah.
3 in the 8. So
Yeah.
maybe we should go
Which
back
is
to the
why,
15 again.
yeah, I think both, both, if it's possible, and when it gets closer, if you have to choose one, then you look at the nature of the field. Because you're right, 2019, the opportunities were larger in the 8. Now we get to 2022, the opportunities look to be, not for sure yet. We'll have to wait till we get closer, but opportunities look to be much better if you're an American woman in the 15 than in the 800. And if she keeps running like she is, I think she'll just gonna find her way on one of the teams or the other. Do you feel that way? If this is who Kate Grace can be next year in May and June and July, that she's gonna make a team.
Yeah. I wonder what events first in the if it's going to be possible to do both cuz she entered both in 2019 but then scratched the 8 semis in favor for the 15 final
Yeah,
and it didn't work out. You just want her to be able to not have to pick, like be able
yeah.
to not have to have a regret of like, ooh, maybe I should have done the other event. And I
I
was
think
all in
it's
on
gonna
her
be
being the second best 800-meter runner in the world, and now all of a sudden I'm like, don't even run the 8, do the 15,
800.
be
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same.
Yeah. Taking advice from Gordon should be its own segment on the show where you
Yeah.
offer pro advice that you immediately retract.
Yep.
They have prioritized Eugene 2022 doubles for the actual world championship. And by doubles, I mean the common doubles, because we know the 4-8 double isn't possible because we looked that up, the thing for thing mo. But the 1-2, the 2-4, the 8-15, et cetera, are possible. So it would be weird to me if they made it possible for world champs, but they didn't make the 8-15 possible for trials. So I think she's going to be able to have the opportunity to do to do both, and I think she should keep that option open. In the same way, I mean, a lot of didn't. I mean, Martinez, I'm thinking of famously in 2016 at the trials when there was that big fall in the women's 8, and then comes back and sneaks in and gets it in the 15. There's been a lot of people who have gone for both and been unsuccessful in one but made it in the other. So I think it's pretty straightforward that keep both options open for yourself.
Yeah,